The next morning, I left before anyone else woke up. I didn't slam the door. I didn't leave a note. There was nothing left to say. My entire life fit inside one old suitcase, a backpack, and the $643 I'd saved from working weekends at the bookstore. I rented the cheapest room I could find above an aging laundromat on the other side of town. The wallpaper was peeling, the pipes rattled every night, and the tiny window overlooked a brick wall. To most people, it would have looked depressing. To me, it felt like freedom. For the first time in my life, every decision belonged to me. The following weeks were a blur of applications, interviews, and paperwork. My dream university offered me a partial scholarship based on my grades, but it wasn't enough. I still needed thousands of dollars I didn't have. So I worked. Mornings at the bookstore, evenings waiting tables at a small diner, weekends tutoring high school students in math. Some nights I didn't get home until after midnight. I learned to survive on instant noodles, peanut butter sandwiches, and coffee that tasted more like burnt water than coffee. It wasn't the college experience I'd imagined, but every assignment I completed reminded me why I refused to give up. Whenever things became overwhelming, I remembered my father's words. You'll figure it out. At first, they hurt. Eventually, they became fuel. By my second year, professors began noticing my work. One of them encouraged me to enter a statewide architectural design competition. I almost didn't. Between work and classes, I barely had time to sleep. Still, something inside me whispered, try. So I did. For 3 weeks, I poured every spare minute into designing an affordable community housing project. It wasn't flashy or futuristic. It was practical, sustainable, and designed for families who couldn't afford expensive homes. The night before the submission deadline, I collapsed across my desk and fell asleep with my sketches scattered around me. 2 months later, I received an email. I had won first place. The prize included a cash award, a paid internship at one of the state's top architecture firms, and something even more valuable, a mentor. For the first time in years, I cried happy tears. Maybe my life wasn't falling apart. Maybe it was finally coming together. Around that same time, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Hi, Liv. It's Mom. We haven't heard from you in months. Your brother misses you. I stared at the screen for a long time. Not once did she ask how I was. Not once did she mention the college fund. Not once did she apologize. I typed a dozen replies before deleting every one of them. In the end, I simply turned off my phone and went back to work. Months became years. I graduated near the top of my class with honors. My internship became a full-time job. At 26, I was promoted to project manager. At 28, I bought a modest 3-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood, the kind of home I'd once dreamed my parents would be proud of. Ironically, I framed my college diploma in the entryway, not to impress visitors, but to remind myself that no one could ever take my future away again. Meanwhile, bits and pieces of news about my family reached me through relatives. Ethan never finished the sports academy. A serious knee injury ended his chances of playing professionally. After that, he bounced from one job to another. My parents continued supporting him financially, convinced that his big break was just around the corner. I felt sorry for him. Not because he failed, because he'd never learned how to stand on his own. One rainy Saturday morning, as I was planting flowers in the front yard of my new home, a dark sedan slowly pulled into my driveway. I wiped the dirt from my hands and looked up. The driver's door opened, then the passenger door. My heart sank. It had been 10 years. My parents had finally found me. And judging by the worried expressions on their faces, this wasn't a social visit.